welcome to You're Wrong About Musicals. I'm Esme,
I'm Nell.
and today we are going to be talking about Bear, a pop opera. We are going to be mentioning the musical for a tiny bit, but that musical kind of sucks. So, I have a lot of opinions on Bear, and I don't really have a lot of places to get them out.
This is again one of those episodes where I'm not going to be talking.
I'm also losing my voice.
Both of us are sick. Also,
I woke up today and I was like, I cannot yesterday when I was getting sick, I did have the thought of, oh my God, I cannot believe it is the one appropriate time of my life to start talking about Bear pop opera, and I am sick. But first, we have some news to get through. It looks like a lot, but some of this is just quite quick actually. Um, Firstly, Regent's Park Open Air announced their summer season being shucked, which we knew quite early, I feel like. Last summer they were like, we're doing Shucked. Um,
yeah, I felt we'd known this for a while.
yeah, it was just a matter of having it actually confirmed. Rodgers and Hammerstein's Dream Ballets. I think they're doing three different Dream Ballets, but like the original choreography. Um, not an adaptation of Mallory Blackman's Noughts and Crosses. I have a feeling there was already a play of it.
I feel like there must be. It seems like something that's been made a play of. I have no idea what. I know the and such,
Yeah,
but a good series.
I'm intrigued. And then Brigadoon. Now I fear we're gonna have to go see Brigadoon for the bit.
Unfortunately, I think we are going to have to go see Brigadoon.
For the bit. If you didn't know, there's a reference to it in The Guy Who Didn't Like Musicals.
I think it's referenced a like shocking amount.
Yeah. Well, it's also where Schmigadoon comes from.
Yeah, I might be making this up, but I feel like there is some joke about it in like Beetlejuice.
Yes. Yeah.
I feel like that's right, but I might also be
Yeah,
hallucinating
and then
that.
they changed it to the Music Man.
Yeah.
Um, and at some point in the next 2 weeks, we'll stop doing a news just section about what's going on at Hadestown over at the Lyric Theatre. I really thought last week we were done, you know?
I thought we wouldn't have to talk about it until after we had seen it.
Mm. I thought like it was gonna go like I thought we might mention it when they started their runs of like, yeah, they started this week.
Yeah.
But Hadestown confirmed pro shot, which we all knew was happening. Like everyone was like, okay, yeah, this is the least shocking news ever. Um, they do another sale for the so basically what I've been able to figure out, I could be wrong. I read this while I was in a lecture. Don't quote me on any of this. Look at the What's on Stage report yourself. However, from what I can tell, there's a week where they're doing like free performances,
Mm.
3 or 4 performances. Um, three or two of them they're recording the pro shot at. One of them's just normal, and then the other ones are recording extra stuff. I don't know, man. We'll see. We'll see. The one thing I have with this pro shot is I'm skeptical about how they're gonna do the epicness of like going to Hades Town and stuff.
I
Like,
feel like surely it's just going to be a wide shot of the stage.
I hope it's a wide shot of that stage for all of Wait For Me, so you could just see like the lamps swinging and the set falling apart almost,
Yeah.
and even like the top of it. And then they announced their cast for after the original Broadway cast happened. So at the moment, there are three different casts of Hades Town in London, technically,
We're aware of.
that we're aware of. There's the one that's currently still paying performances. We'll have their final performance on Sunday. On Tuesday, the original Broadway cast go in,
Hmm.
and then 5 weeks later, the new cast starts with Desdemona Cathbell, Victoria Hamilton Barrett, Chris Jara, Jara,
Jana, I think.
Jana. That sounds better than what I was saying. Cedric Neal and Dylan Wood returning. Streets. I saw one person on Twitter say this. I could be wrong. Streets are saying that the understudy Orpheus is Irish, so God is good.
I'm very excited for Cedric Neal.
His road to hell is gonna
He was really good as Balaga.
Balaga. And I feel
And
like
I know that's a very different role from like Hermes.
no, but you know, like this, like how fun Road to Hell is,
Yeah.
and like not even what is it? Way down Hades Town.
Oh, I think he's gonna be really good at luring you into a false sense of security and then like
Oh,
fucking you over at the end.
oh, it's gonna be so good. We have to go. Also, I'm glad that I get another chance to catch Dylan Woods' Orpheus.
Mm,
I am so sad to be missing Trevor Dion Nicholas's
I
Hermes,
know.
not Hermes, Hades, and Rachel Tucker's Persephone.
It was just unfortunate timing for us specifically with this
It was
cast.
literally the worst timing ever. It was like that and Why Am I So Single were like just happened at the completely wrong
Yeah.
time for us to go see it. Um, Holly Ann Hull is doing
God.
Eurovision. If you don't know, Holly Ann Hull was Christine in Phantom of the Opera on tour and in London for like 5 years.
And she was really good at it.
She's a really good singer. I mean, we saw her as Christine.
Yeah. I want to say there's someone else in the group who was like in six.
Yeah, nothing will be more wild than opening my Twitter and being like, oh, the girl I saw as Christine is representing us at Eurovision. Good for her.
She should.
I went good for her because I've seen her little country band come up. It's called Remember Monday, I think. Um,
Yeah.
I've seen it come up on my TikTok, and I was like, yeah, good for them. Now this is also big for us. Got not much to do with musical theatre, but we have to talk about it.
Oh.
Molly Gordon's new. Is it a movie or a TV show?
I think it's a TV show.
Yeah. But basically, Molly Gordon's just been given like complete creative control. I think she's producing, directing, and writing,
And starring, I
and
think.
starring in a comedy about two high school bullies who are on a mission to relive their glory days.
At
And I
like their
just,
10-year reunion.
yeah, their 10-year reunion. And I saw someone on Twitter say that they were bullied by Molly Gordon. Um, and the possibility of someone being bullied by Ben Platt and Molly Gordon is deeply hilarious to me. Um, this might be how we find out what happened between Ben Platt and Molly Gordon.
Oh yeah. She's gonna turn it around so her character is actually like realizes that they're mean and is like, we have to stop bullying people. It's
It's
been 10
just
years since we were in high school. And Ben Platt's character is like, no.
no, it's just Rebecca Diane and Amos.
Yeah.
But all that's to say, we are sat for the Molly Gordon takeover of TV. She is so funny. Say
I
what
love
you,
her.
she's hilarious. Um,
Molly Gordon, I'm on your side.
I'm on Molly Gordon's side, as one of my favorite tweets reads. Next up, we're just gonna do some quick Grammy ones. Taylor Swift holds space with Cynthia Erivo. Seeing Taylor Swift and Cynthia Erivo talk all night was kind of funny to me. I was like, oh yeah, I forget you two existed in the same universe. And Cynthia Erivo is like a big star. She's Oscar nominated. Um, she also talks to Chapel Roan, and everyone says it looks like the Wicked poster because is in her. I can only describe it as like
Princess hat.
yeah, princess hat. Like you're doing princess dress up as a child.
My
I
queen.
I, I was so happy that she won Best New Artist and her performance of Pink Pony Club. Next up, we got Beyonce finally wins Album of the Year. She should already have two, but Grammys are racist. Now this one was big for me because I watched the pre-broadcast like award ceremony because that's the only thing I can watch before I get too tired. Um, and I was half asleep, like kind of waiting for the musical theatre Grammy to be handed out, and all of a sudden the presenter starts talking, and then he goes, "And now Renee Fleming," and I was like, "I know that name. She was Margaret Johnson in The Light in the Piazza." And Kelly O'Hara. I sprung awake. Kelly, what are you doing at the Grammys, love? And then some other person who I didn't catch the name of because I was too busy going, Kelly O'Hara! She performed at the Grammys. It was great. Lovely Kenny O'Hara. This is big for Nell. Next point. Sabrina Carpenter and Olivia Rodrigo reunite at the Grammys.
This is huge for me. They hugged.
Yeah. Nell
War
has
is over.
Nell has been talking about their reunion for like 4 years. However long it's
Yeah.
been since Driver's License came out.
No, genuinely.
And the Cold War seems to be over between Taylor and Olivia. Now's not the place for me to get into that. Um, anyway. Hell's Kitchen wins the Grammy for musical theatre. Seen about 5 people complaining. To them, I say, the Grammys like Alicia Keys. Alicia Keys is very talented. And I don't think it's done on songwriting. Yeah. Hugh Jackman cancels his Hyde Park concert, which is kind of it's like bad that people spent a lot of money for this and then aren't going to be able to go. But it's also kind of funny because there were posters fucking everywhere in London. Like you could not walk down the street without seeing Hugh Jackman's face. My favorite thing was that they were like Hugh Jackman from the Les Mis movie.
His
The
most
greatest
iconic role.
Yes, The Greatest Showman and The Music Man. And I was thinking, if anyone knows The Music Man in the UK, it's because you guys kicked Beetlejuice out of its theatre. Operation Mincemeat announces complete Broadway casting for the understudies. I've seen people starting to do understudy bingo. Very nice. I appreciate that. As always, influencers. Um, I'm just going to read from the What's on Stage article from the press release from Operation Mincemeat because I find that they like to speak in coded language, if that makes sense. And they don't like to talk to the press very often. So the Broadway production will run at the Golden Theatre on the 20th of March 2025. Previews beginning on the 15th of February. That's literally in 10 days. That's kind of crazy. This will mark the Golden Theatre first musical since Avenue Q. I think they're starting to position themselves as an Avenue Q.
Mm.
This musical will run simultaneously in New York and London at the Fortune Theatre. Can you guys please leave?
Boo.
Like, my issue at the moment is to just like find another theatre to go to because the Fortune Theatre kind of needs a revamp desperately.
Yeah.
Um, Further plans to be revealed in due course. What further plans? You're in New York and London. Where else could you guys go? Australia? Actually, Australia would probably quite like them.
Mm.
Um, Starkid are being annoying because they were asked to pay. Because people were asked to pay. You don't have to.
It's Starkid.
Wait 3 months at most, and you'll be able to have it for free. You don't have to.
Like genuinely, me and Esme have talked about buying these tickets for about God, what? 6 years now?
Like almost 10 years at this point.
And like we never have
No,
because we don't have the money. But we understand why they ask for the money, why they offer it as an option. And when we can't afford it, we say, that sucks. All
I
right,
guess.
we'll wait.
Yeah, it's like okay, like I guess we can wait 3 months.
Yeah.
It's not that deep. This is like the human definition of not that deep.
Mm.
Um, they're doing a workshop of Big Fish, which was a Broadway flop. There are some absolute gems in Big Fish. I Don't Need a Roof, Time Stops, and even that little lamb song from Alabama. That
Mm.
I really jammed to that. I didn't realize that we were still trying to make Big Fish happen. But as someone who likes those free songs, I encourage it. Crybaby casting. I forget that Crybaby is coming to London.
I think I like texted you about it like a week ago, and I was like, "Did you know Crybaby is coming to London for like, and they're doing like £5 tickets?"
Yeah,
So we should go.
we should go to Crybaby.
We should
I
go
don't,
to Crybaby.
I don't know when it is. I think it's like in the depths of East London.
It's in like an actual nice. Hold on, let me look it up. Because I was looking at where it was, and it's like it's
Is
at the
it?
Arcola Theatre.
No, do not know where that is.
I'll get it
Google
up on
that
a
for me.
map. Um,
How do you spell Arcola?
Arcola. It's basically in like Hackney.
Okay.
So it's actually not like horrible to get to.
Yeah, I was just thinking about sometimes when I go to Greenwich and how long that takes me.
Yeah,
I have a friend who lives over there. That's what I'm doing at Greenwich. Um,
because we can kind of get like honestly,
wait, let me look it up.
let me try something. If we make a day out of it,
Anyway, full cast set for Joe, the Little Women musical concept album. I keep forgetting this is happening, and then I'm like, "Woo, I need to really look into this because this seems like something that deeply interests me." And then I remember that Laura Benanti's in it, and I go, "Oh, fucking hell, I love Laura Benanti." Um, yeah, and then they always hint at the fact that they're going to do a concert, and I was like, unfortunately, I think I'd go to that. I would go by myself, you know? I love Little Women. I was thinking about how much I love Little Women this week. Um, anyway, back to some more Star Kid stuff. Star Kid Palladium show announces complete casting. I've forgotten the poor girl's name.
Bryce Charles.
Yes, I almost said Bryce Dallas Howard, and that was not a person. I don't know where I got that from. Um, Charles will be joining, and was Cinderella's Castle her first Star Kid show?
No, she was in Nerdy Prudes. She does the solo in Hatchet Town.
Oh yeah, no, no, I know,
You know her.
I know her. Sorry, brain is gone. I am sick. Um, Devil Wears Prada extends. This is like the second time it's had to do this. Devil Wears Prada continues to make money. I don't know if we talked about it on here, but Back to the Future also extended for some reason.
I
Um,
really thought it was going to close.
it is. And I'm not saying this because I don't like Back to the Future, which I've been on record. I don't like Back to the Future. However, I also am constantly on Today Takes, and so I constantly like you can always tell when something's gonna announce closing because it just suddenly has like a rush of like a week or two before closing, they'll suddenly do like so many like ticket incentives.
Mm.
It is constantly on Today Takes drops. Like I looked today because I like to do daily browse because I'm nosy like that. Um, also I like to play the game of oh, if I was in London, what could I be able to go see for how much? You know? Um, they have tickets for £17 for
Um,
Back to the Future, and the tickets originally retail for like 40.
Jesus.
I was thinking if I could get a £15 ticket for Back to the Future, fuck it, I'd go.
Yeah.
Um,
Actually, on Devil Wears Prada, I rewatched the film
I love the film.
like this
watched it.
week.
I watched it for the first time a couple months ago. Had a great time.
It's so good. I was like, God, I forgot that this is actually like a really, really good film. Like, it's actually incredible. But the
I
whole time I
am
was sitting there, I was like, why is this a musical?
exactly. I was sat there and I'd be like, "This is such a good film. I'm really enjoying this. How the fuck did they make this work for the stage?"
My thing was, the thing I said was, is that obviously when people talk about The Devil Wears Prada, like generally, one of the big things you'll hear is like Andy's boyfriend is the actual devil.
Hmm.
Like he's the one in the wrong. And a lot of the time, I agree because he is a dick. But the thing is, I think if the film had done anything to show their backstory,
Yes.
because you get, I forget her name, but it's the girl who's also in Rent. Um,
Oh my God, I know exactly who you're
yeah,
on about.
she plays one of Annie's friends in The Devil Wears Prada, and she like
And it took me
she's
out because I was
see,
like, "You're a Rent."
yeah, she's when Andy is kissing Christian, she's like the Andy I know is madly in love with like her boyfriend. I was like, do we know this, or are we just being told?
Yeah, I wish we almost had like a 5 minute montage before like the film started of what
Yeah,
Andy's life was like the day before she moved to New York.
because I understand completely why they didn't do it. It would really disrupt the flow of the film.
And also it's very much like a New York fashion film.
Yeah, like the opening is iconic,
Yeah.
but like I kind of wish we just had because if we even had like a little bit of how great their relationship was, who she actually was as a person, besides like a scene where she's with her friends and a scene where she's bitching about Runway.
Because it gets very like it very quickly devolves into her just bitching the entire time. Like we never see one scene where she's just hanging out with her friends, really.
Yeah. It's it has its flaws, and part of that is from it being like what, under 2 hours and being very fast paced.
That's half the fun of it.
Yeah. And I think if the musical would rectify that, I was like, you know what? Our opening song is actually going to be
The
her
boyfriend.
backstory. Yeah. I'd be like, you know what? Fuck it. Yeah, I love this.
I
But
really
it's
don't
not,
think it
is it?
is. No.
It's just not going to be that, is it?
It's the Shayna Tubb and Elton John musical.
Like, it's not going to do all that, which is
No.
fine. Like, I think it's still a good story. I think it will probably work well on stage.
I think it'll be a fun time. That will be enough while we'll have to get a couple drinks in us and then go
Yeah,
in like a non-Moulin Rouge way.
yeah. Moulin Rouge, we have to be, to be blackout.
We have to be drunk for to enjoy it. This one,
Yeah,
we'll have a bit of a better time if we've had a
yeah.
drink.
I think it's my thing of there is a lot of shows where I kind of feel like, oh, this like when it starts as a movie, and I'm like, I get why you are making this. Basically, when it's an adaptation, I'm like, I get why you are taking this to the stage because you are doing something.
That's how I felt when I first watched Waitress. I was like, oh yeah, no, this is very cute and fun and whimsical.
Yeah, like
Right, your
either,
thoughts, Sarah.
yeah, like either I think there's something that can be added or expanded on by it being a stage show rather than like a film or a book.
Yeah.
Like I think Benjamin Button
Uh-huh.
is quite good for that, for seeing the
Oh my God, they've gutted that.
spectacle of it.
Yeah, and they've gutted it. Like, obviously, F. Scott Fitzgerald didn't write it. He said write it to be set in Connecticut. Of course he did. Not um Cornwall, which has completely changed everything about it, basically.
Yeah. Or I think when it's like, oh, there is something to be added to this that we
Yeah.
can do through a musical. I'm not explaining this well because I'm sick.
No, I
I
get
think
what you're
Devil
saying, but
Wears
I'm not gonna say
Prada,
it.
yeah, is like running into the same issue that I have with
Mean Girls.
Mean Girls and like Back to the Future, where it's everyone knows this film, everyone is waiting for certain things to happen, so you can't change anything. So all you're doing is putting the film on stage and every 10 minutes having a song.
Every 10 minutes having a song, and we're just gonna kind of like do it. And yeah,
Yeah,
it's gonna be that. Anyway, Ariana DeBose is no longer playing Ava Perón, which is deeply saddening. And also, I'm like, who the fuck are you gonna get in to do this?
Lady Gaga.
I don't know, because she's in the middle of an album rollout.
Lady Gaga.
Lady Gaga is in the middle of rolling out an album.
Lady Gaga. I've been
You're just
saying.
gonna keep saying Lady Gaga, aren't you?
Yeah.
But no, I was just a bit like, okay, guys, so you didn't have to tell us that Ariana DeBose was basically confirmed to be playing Evita for you to tell her that, us that she's definitely not. I'm also thinking by this time last year, we knew Imelda Staunton was doing Hello Dolly.
Yeah.
You guys need to be shifting some tickets.
We kind of need a name because otherwise,
I mean, I'll be there. I don't know many other people who will be there just based on Jamie Lloyd Evita.
yeah.
Um, Especially with the current way his Shakespeare's.
He's shit at doing Shakespeare, sorry.
I don't get why people keep letting. What's Andy? Andy's let him do this season of Shakespeare.
Well, because he did really well before.
Well, yeah, because he Sunset was making so much money for him. Um. Anyway, oh, Trisha Paytas on Broadway. That was.
That happened.
I don't know what people were expecting from Trisha Paytas on Broadway.
It was bad. We expected it to be.
I,
Let's move on.
I,
We said our
anyway,
piece last week about the
yeah,
backlash it was going to face. All of that backlash happened.
one, it happened, and two, yeah, Trish can't sing.
You know,
I thought we all knew that. Anyway, um, maybe Happy Ending announces dates for understudies. I'm really liking this trend where we announce when understudies are going on.
mm,
It's nice. I appreciate it. Um, Tim Minchin to go on a UK tour. Is it UK only tour, right?
yeah,
Yeah. Love you, Tim Minchin, but your music does something very specific to me, and I don't know whether or not I want that to be done in public.
yeah.
Like, no. He sings a Groundhog Day bar, and I will start hysterically crying.
I nearly went to his last tour, and then I was like, no, no, I can't. But I'm really tempted to go to this one.
Uh, he starts to sing When I Grow Up,
Oh yeah,
I'll shut down, man. Like it's not fucking
it's
funny.
over.
It's Jova for me.
It's Jova.
Oedipus gets good reviews at the Old Vic. This is the second production of Oedipus we've had this year, isn't it?
I know, but this one has Rami Malek.
This one doesn't really like. Shakespeare's Globe announces season, including the Crucible. We're gonna have to go see the Crucible
At the Globe.
at the Globe. We can't see John Proctor as the villain, which is a play I really want to see actually.
I really want to see John Proctor as the villain.
As the villain. I forget that Sadie Sink is doing that on Broadway.
I know. Excited for it.
I'm buzzing. And then there's a full cast for the Dracula, a comedy of terrors announced.
Very excited.
Very exciting. Let's get into Bear. Most of this was either pulled from my memory with some vague source, or actually 90% of this was pulled from my memory with some vague source. Um,
Like Newsies with me.
yeah, like I was like, I have some vague memory of this. Let me track it down. Or a documentary that was put up on Vivo.
Oh, I do remember that.
I literally had to transcribe parts of this documentary.
I think as well this one's going to be short because we can't even, we can't like riff off each other because I'm not going to say anything. I might mute myself.
To
I
prove a
might go,
point.
I might go make another drink and you can just kind of go.
There's
How many
some
pages is it?
like four.
Can I actually see?
A lot of it's an All That Dazzles review about staged
Oh, the
comedies
fuck
in the
us,
UK.
which I'm sure you'll be talking about.
Well, Lambert Jackson are number one enemies for their actions. Bear Pop Opera is a musical. This is I'm gonna call it. If I'm saying Bear, I mean Bear, not Bear the musical. Unless I'm saying Bear the musical, because they're two different things, and the musical shit. Um,
But the
why did they?
popper is okay.
Huh? Sorry, my computer's being slow because I have so many tabs open because I'm currently doing data collection and I can't shut them down.
Popera
Yeah,
is okay.
yeah. Um, it with a book by John Hartmere Jr. and Damon Interpretalo, lyrics by John Hartmere and a music by Damon Interpretalo. The show would start its life in late 1997, where composer Interpretalo would start hearing sounds and write them as soundscapes, hearing conversations uh that would become the characters of Bear. Look up this documentary. Interpretalo is a fascinating was sorry he unfortunately passed. Was a fascinating guy, very animated, very engaging. Seemed a bit mad, but aren't all musical theatre composers just a tiny bit mad?
Exactly.
Um, John Harmer claims that there were lyrics first, and in the documentary they have a back and forth about what came first. And Damon just kind of basically saying, "No, no, 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 it's an opera, it's an opera, it's an opera," and Harmer is just like, "No, some of these have to have lyrics first to drive the story forward, you idiot." It's funny. They met at USC after being introduced by Deborah Laurie, who would become a producer and an arranger for the show. Bear would go through many different names during this time, including Cross, Footsteps, and Walk a While in My Shoes, which is pretty shit. After they had a couple of songs, they would start to archive the show, creating a concept album, but no one really liked it, so they went back to the drawing boards. After this, they would create a concert of Bear, with it being described by Ida Pitalo as drawing on loads of alternative rock textures, like the Red Hot Chili Peppers, Five Inch Nails, and Fiona Apple. Why were Gracie Abrams fans saying she's this generation's Fiona Apple?
I don't want to talk about it.
It just what came to my mind right now, and I was like, I've got to get this out there. It's hilarious to me. Um, they would do another concept album after this concert. There are copies. I might, in the depths of my Google Drive, have a copy of this.
God.
Um, with it gaining the attention of a production company in LA, but they didn't really know what to do with it at that point, so they kind of let it go. However, on the 1st of May, they're like, it's very important. On the 1st of May, we sat down and we decided we're going to do Bear. They would sit down at dinner and produce it themselves. They would reach out to John Altman since he had the cash and they had been writing some of the previous pieces in his studio. To find a theatre, they would drive around and ask how much theatres would cost, with how much it would cost to produce. Um, with them finding a 99-seat theatre on Santa Monica Boulevard. They would then reach out to Kristen Hange, who I'll say Altman. John Altman is not his name, I'm 90% sure. Altman is his name. New director. They were like, we know this person. They do directing, so we're just gonna call them. Got no one else on board. And they would watch the Tonys together. Like, we need to produce the show together. Um, they would do production meetings at Inter Pitalo's apartment for fun on their off time. They would listen to people do karaoke and joke, oh, they'd make a good so and so. They'd make a good, certain character in the show. This would be how they would find Jenna Lee Green, who would play Ivy. They just heard her singing at karaoke and were like, you should be in our show. Which, on face value, does sound kind of crazy. Jenna Lee Green had been apparently in a Nickelodeon show before this, so she was an actress. I think she still is. Hope she's doing all right. Um, but yeah, it would open in October of 2000 at a tiny 99-seat theatre. The LA Times would say John Hartman Jr. and Damon Interpretalo's new pop opera Bear isn't about the titillation of braided flesh, though the skirts are doofed by both sexes. The world premiere at the Hudson Main Stage Theatre focuses on raw emotion and soul bearing. Not unlike the better episodes of the TV series Fame, but much longer, almost 3 hours, this well-produced, smoothly orchestrated ode to self-absorbed teenage angst follows 6 high school seniors at a Catholic boarding school, St. Cecilia's. Stage smoke drifts over Austin Lance Black and William Kaufman's set with a faux stained glass window watches over the action. The main stage is a culprit that transforms into a confessional. Above both sides is a large band, is a live band that sits conducted by Interpretalo. The score, earnest and emoting, drive a predictable second act to a satisfying conclusion. The fate of the 5 surviving students is left to our imaginations as they sing penitently about having no voice. Will they find their voice in the adult world? Will there be a sequel? It hardly matters because the first musical of lyricist Hartmere and composer Interpretalo, who also co-wrote the book, has found a nice voice. And then in all caps they said, be there. I expected this to have worse reviews in LA. I was like, they're not gonna like this.
Hmm.
Because in the documentary they were like, it was a sellout success. So I was like, yeah, I probably caught on the young people. Adults didn't understand it. But no, I mean, continuing on with Variety, they said, now a momentous ambitious pop opera, Bear exposes a tragic love affair of Jason and Peter, two Catholic high school students upstate at St. Cecilia's. The team of John Hartman Jr. and David Interpretalo have wrought a magnificent and totally contemporary musical extravaganza that explores the schism between youth passion and theological drama. In a tour de force staging by Kristen Hanke, a talented 21 member ensemble. They have since cut down the amount of people in Bear. That kind of shocked me. I was taken aback. Normally it's produced it's like done with 12 people at most.
Mm.
It soars through this insight tale of contemporary youth and has been given all the advantages of life except the guidance how to live it. But the storyline is less memorable than the 32-song score, which is an adult with ambiguation of contemporary pop, alternative rock, new age sounds, rap and flat-out rhythm and blues, underscored brilliantly by keyboardist Interpretalo and a six-member instrumental ensemble with an almost non-stop flow of musical numbers, accomplishes the seldom realized idea of facilitating a story while offering individual musical gems that stand on their own. The ensemble is displayed to great effect by Cyrillic first and second act openers, Epiphany and Wedding Bells. They are also enlivened in a celebratory rave anthem, Wonderland, and a sarcastic birthday bitch. The show's closing no voice is an anonymous indictment of what the church falls flat to hear or understand them. Yeah, I listened to Wonderland for like the first time in ages whilst hungover on Sunday.
Yeah.
That was fun. I was like, oh God, I feel like I'm back at the club. This is deeply concerning actually. Um yeah, so it'd be all out here in LA with them describing people sitting in like in the aisles just to be able to hear the music. Um
Um,
yeah, and it was compared to Rent because it was a rock musical in the early 2000s. What's very
yeah,
important to
that
note is
tracks.
yeah, what's very important to note is that this was written in a pre-Spring Awakening landscape.
Mm. I think that's always
Um
been my thing, is I'm very much like, to me, Bear and Spring Awakening are very, very similar,
yeah,
but I don't think they're in any way like related.
it's I think rock music was just having a moment,
Yeah.
and I wonder how Bear would have succeeded if it had like first come onto the scene in 2007 compared
Mm.
to 2000. Um, because so they were like, let's bring this off Broadway. And in the fall of 2001, MTV and the multimedia Immortal Entertainment Group in a partnership with Daryl Roth and Jordan Roth were announced to be behind the project. They would want to change the show and make it different despite what worked so well in Los Angeles. So it would take like 4 years since that deal fell through. I'm so intrigued to see what they had plotted for the MTV version of Bear. I really forget how hard MTV rode for musical theatre in the 2000s.
Yeah, they were really into it.
Yeah, because it wasn't just like obviously there was the Legally Blonde pro shot, which is iconic. Then they did the Search for Elwoods,
Mm.
which was chaos. They also did like a massive segment with Spring Awakening,
Mm.
and I don't know, like MTV were having a second renaissance in the in the 2000s with The Hills, Laguna Beach, and like Jersey Shore. So it's kind of crazy. They were like, we're gonna spend all this cultural cachet on trying to get young people into theatre. Um, anyway, shout out to MTV. However, they would finally make their off-Broadway debut in 2000 at the American Theatre of Actors, with it having a potentially open-ended run. Producers would delay the production after an investor dropped out. Okay, do you want to know something else maddening about this show? I
What?
cannot find the New York Times off-Broadway review for it.
Oh,
Yeah, I can't find it. Um, every time I look for it, it just comes up with the musical reviews, and I don't want to see them. The musical's bad. Um, I found a Talking Broadway one, which is probably somewhat someone submitted, but it's as close as we're gonna get. So
Let's
just
hear it.
I'm just gonna have to roll with it. Um, of the many things that can be said about Bear, that it lacks heart and spirit cannot be among them. The show breathlessly uh energetic and an obvious labor of love crafted with care down to the smallest details, with great performances and strong music. Strong music. The only thing Bear is really missing in part is a soul. Roasted.
Um,
Um, it proves somewhat damaging to the unquestionably engaging yet cautiously unmoving pop opera which just opened at the American Theatre for Actors, which is scheduled to play through May 30th. Bear directly takes us into the battle between homosexuality and Catholicism with enormous gusto, but it fails to fully capture the character's central struggles on an emotional level. The weakening of the church's influence weakens Bear. There were times that Hartman and Interpretalo seemed to suggest that Peter and Jason need less religion in their lives than other students need it more, but the church is genuinely otherwise shown as monolithic and uncaring. And the exception is the sympathetic character of Sister Chantal, an otherwise minor character. As Peter and Jason begin with their strong faith in God and the lack of the church's constant presence, the well establishment of their basis and beliefs, the further hurts the play's foundational conflict. Director Christian Hanke is moderately successful at finding these solutions to these problems. Her staging is not only free music, quick paced, and constantly in motion, but the show never feels mechanical. But the choices she and choreographer Sergio Trulio make depicting Peter and Jason's inner conflictions, relying heavily on cross imagery and physical representations of them being pulled in many directions, have cliched and not have a cliche feel and not otherwise present in the well staged Bear. Um, Hartmere and Interpretalos render the characters a rock vernacular that suggests Jesus Christ Superstar, Rent, and their own unique invent theatrical style. They the only fun they find in religious music, however, is a gospel song that Sister Chantal sings. I would push back against that. And when they all start just chanting the random books from the Bible, that feels like a joke that only they find funny.
yeah.
Like, you know how when the Sweaty Oracle reviews Sunset Boulevard, or someone reviews Sunset Boulevard, there's like, there are jokes in there that only Jamie Lloyd himself find funny.
Mm.
I feel like that way with a lot of pieces of theatre, where it's just like, there's someone in here who finds this joke hilarious, and so it cannot be cut, but no one else understands it. Um, the lyrics are openly emotional and tend to lack subtlety or insight. I would say it's a rock opera. They're not known for their subtlety. Um, the music played by a six-person band under Interpretalo's musical direction is consistently strong. The show's most unsatisfying moments occur when Interpretalo uneasily sets a verse of the school's play Romeo and Juliet to music. As for performances, Michael Arden um gives a articulate performance as the project's easygoing youthful charm. I think he was Peter. Jonah Hill, John Hill, sorry, Jonah Hill's a different guy, is almost ideally cast as the stereotypical boy darling inside. Generally green, vibrantly and effortlessly negotiates Ivy's roller coaster of emotions. Aaron Law does well as the easily hurt and hurtful Matt. Caitlin Hopkins' appearances as Peter's loving but concerned mother are few but memorable, and it's hard to imagine anyone more than Romeo T. Benjamin in her vocal knockout Chantal. But it doesn't make her seem integral to the story. Natalie Joy Johnson and Tim Price do much better than expected with their fairly one-note characters of Nadia and the priest. In many ways, Bear's admirable piece of work, sharing much in common with both Urinetown, which played the same theatre 3 years ago, and last year's Radiant Baby. Those two shows had different fates. It's difficult to see at this juncture what will be Bear's future. Bear is so bursting with youthful vigor that even its acknowledgement of its problem is very difficult. to not to like and want to succeed. Although you can't help but feel it has a bit of growing up to do. It would close on the 27th of May 2004 after opening on the 19th of April. They would have to wait until 2007 for a cast recording because no one was willing to pay for them to have a cast recording.
Um,
Again, depths of the brain. Don't quote me on this. I think they had to GoFundMe for this.
oh my God.
Yeah, and that's how we got the documentary. It was like a bonus if you like donated money, you could have this documentary. Um, and it was like a mismatch of casts. So it was a lot of the LA cast, some of the Broadway cast, and some people just bought in for this. Um, with like this recording was out though, community groups started doing bad because the licensing was finally available. Um, and again, it's 2007. Spring Awakening is the biggest thing on Broadway, so I reckon a
We
lot of
can't
people
do Spring Awakening.
they're like, we can't do Spring Awakening, but you guys want to sing rock songs, so let's do Bear instead. Um, uh, okay, so they would do a musical version of Bear. So Bear, it's called a pop opera, right? So it's sung through from start to finish. Um, like a lot of my favorite musicals, it's sung through. Um, but they decided, no, let's make it into a book musical for some fucking reason. Um, Stanford Alma, who was the director of Carrie when they redid it, as well, said about this production because it was timeless, because of the timeliness of what's happening out there in the world, because we have an author who is alive and living and present in the world. It just makes sense to evolve the piece so it's maintained its heart and grit and soul. It's just guts. Okay, I'm going to talk about this because I saw Bear last year, and I will admit there are some things that need updating about it.
Hmm.
I don't think you need to update the story of Peter and Jason fundamentally to make it work, even in a 2013 context.
Yeah.
I think we need to update things like the character of Sister Chantal and some of the
Hmm.
language used. I don't think we need to change the story of two gay boys not feeling like they are supported enough to come out at that private Catholic boarding school
Yeah,
and
that
kill
seems,
people.
kind of timeless.
Yeah, and also the whole spoiler alert teen pregnancy storyline of hey, that's also timely of hey, maybe if Ivy had had access to birth control, she wouldn't be in this position.
Yeah, like I feel like there's nothing, at least that I'm aware of in the plot of that.
Yeah.
I don't feel like there's anything glaring in the main plot where I'm like, oh, this isn't really applicable in
Yeah.
this day and age.
Yeah.
Like I think there's definitely, like you said, there are things that are outdated and could be modernized in some way.
Yeah.
But I think it is still very understandable and very relevant. Is probably the best way to put it.
Like as a story, Bear could be performed today. You could set it today, and people would be like, "Oh, this is an important issue for our times."
Yeah.
You don't need to tell them that it was written in the 90s, although I do think it's fun if you set it in the 90s. I don't know, I just like the
Mm,
aesthetics of it a bit more, and it makes the whole thing of phoning home a bit easier. But again, that can be done through mobile phones. Anyway, when we'll talk about it a bit later, because I have so much to say. John Hartmere, who wrote the book and lyrics, commented about the revision, saying the biggest challenge is having more space to explore the characters. To know these characters a little bit better, you just need more room. You need more room for book scenes. And personally, I just wanted to get under the hood and investigate a bit further. David Interpretalo went absolutely fucking not, you idiots, and refused to be involved.
icon.
David Interpretalo, the fact that he died so young is actually one of the biggest losses to musicals.
Yeah.
Um, uh, and they like got on Lynn Shankle to write more music, but because David Interpretalo has such a specific voice in Bear, it doesn't work.
Mm,
Um, with him correcting the revisions in order to follow through with his primary intent. The team also these are the changes they made. The team added the start of Peter and Jason's relationship, so it starts with them getting like at the start of their relationship, whereas in the pop opera it's like they've been together for an undisclosed amount of time, but we're just seeing them at this point because it's a crisis point almost. Took away the roommate aspect of their situation. They've been roommates since freshman year. That's what we're led to believe in the musical. In the pop opera,
Okay.
in the musical, they're like not. So
Classic crush situation.
yeah, it's never really explained. Um, they took away Role of a Lifetime from Peter and gave it to Jason. That one doesn't completely anger me. I just think it's an out of character thing for Jason to be doing. Jason's not honest with his feelings. Um, Nadia is no longer overweight. She is played by Barrett Wilbert Weed, um, and is also a school drug dealer.
Right.
Um, and is an angry outcast still. Ivy has been made a transfer student and is now dating Matt, to provide stronger basis for Nadia's anger and the fact that Matt destroys everything. The students throw a birthday party for Jason instead of Ivy. The character of Peter's mother is eliminated, combined into the progressive nun of Sister Joan. Also added the
Oh,
character of Father Mike, both replace similar characters in the production. The show's timeline is very different. Jason does not break up with Ivy right after break, and in Kiss Your Heart instead, they date platonically for a while. She breaks up with him right before Pilgrim's Hands and reconciles with Peter after You Are Not Alone. Also, this is just a random thing that they throw in for shits and gigs and no reason. During Ivy's big solo, all growing up about how she's pregnant at 16 and it is kind of the end of her life.
hmm.
They have it be almost a confession that she slept with her teacher
What the
at her
fuck?
old school.
Sure,
And that's why she was transferred to Catholic boarding school.
sure.
Um, Also, in making Sister Chantal like no longer a thing, because yes, technically you cannot be have a sister with the name of Sister Chantal because that's not the name of a saint. Um, she's white now. Sister Chantal is Sister Joan and a white woman who sings a song like a Carrie song, like a Margaret White outtake.
Ah,
Um, yeah,
so quite a few changes.
quite a few changes, and I'm not sure why.
Like, again, a lot of them, I kind of get the idea of being like, we want to try something different. That,
Yeah, make a new musical.
but it just seems like a bit much.
It's like, and it's so dumb. It's like part of like the one that really gets me is like because the whole musical is kind of like a lot of Ivy's character is she's kind of portrayed like Nadia keeps saying she's a slut like multiple
Mm,
times in the pop opera, but we don't actually see her get with anyone except for Jason.
mm.
So you're like, oh, maybe Nadia's lying. In the musical, they're like, yeah, she fucked her teacher.
Yeah, she is a slut.
That's why she's there. Um, anyway, it would open in December 2012. The New York Times would say, like a high school counselor with a bucket load of empathy and too few concrete solutions to problems, director Salford Oliver appears to be specializing in taking troubled teen angst musicals and trying to smooth out their kinks. In his uh, valiant bid to salvage Carrie from the junkyard of cult infamy, he's now taking a crack at Bear, the pop rock chronicle of ill-fated gay love at a co-ed Roman Catholic boarding school. Playing at New World stages, the show has been lauded, retooled for the It Gets Better era to tap into. Also, Jason still dies.
Yeah,
Like, it still ends at Jason's funeral. I could see it, like, them doing all these weird cosmetic changes if they change the ending.
yeah.
I don't get it. Um, today's raise consciousness about adolescent homophobia, stigmatization, and bullying. It is frequently touching and tender, soaring at points of its conviction of its young cast. It is also earnest to a fault, drawing in noble intentions and mawkish critiques. Such aching sincerity might connect with audiences close in age to the characters, but goes beyond its, but does not, sorry. Many of us beyond its range. It is akin to watching a particularly sappy, extra long episode of Glee. Um,
Right.
it is very Glee core, if you couldn't tell. Um, with music by Damon Interpretalo and lyrics by John Hartmere, the show is now significantly different. The Its new songs, an expanded book by Mr. Hartman, and additional music by Lynn Shankel. A fresh material provides enhanced context around the central couple. The frame refrains narrow and the dialogue too generic, makes a tragic story resonate with nothing more than a dehumanized tolerance lesson. Like Carrie, the Carrie redo before it, the new Bear seems like a bland attempt to broad the emotional roller coaster of adolescent ecstasy and agony. What the musical Spring Awakening and Travis Wall something random uh agony that was the musical Spring Awakening. Sorry. It's not for all the cast, which includes Gerald E. Simon as a conflicted priest, Missy Pyle as the progressive nun, that Bear rarely gets beyond life is so unfair platitudes within its insipid songs. Mr. Interpretalo's tunes work overtime to lend some urgency to the drama, but to little avail. It would not last long. It would run like 3 months. And it would close in February 2013. The pop opera would make its return to LA in 2013. Um, However, before this production would be produced, Damon Interpretalo would sadly pass away suddenly at the age of 39, which is tragic. Um, this production would be dedicated to him. It would have a stacked cast with Peyton Lewis, Jonah Platt, Ben Platt's brother,
King.
yeah, Lindsay Pearce, who was like Elphaba on Broadway for a while, and I think is now Fontaine in the National Tour, and Katie Stephen, who was in a Netflix show. Because once my teacher was showing us a documentary, and so I logged into her Netflix, and I look up and I was like, oh, that's Nadia from that one production of Bear. Um, okay, big debate happening. And there's been, I mean, it's happened. So there was a really good bootleg or a pro shot that was on YouTube for years.
Hmm.
I might see if I can find it to show you a bit because it, like, do you know how Catherine Steele back in the day used to have like a no bootleg policy?
Yeah.
She was like, I can't work out whether or not this is like a bootleg or a pro shot, so I watch it. I need you to see like the quality of this because it's basically just like a wide shot and then they like zoom in and it's like
Is
it
it
never
like
like
the Ride the Cyclone one?
a little bit worse quality. Like it's just like this. The
That that doesn't look like a seat view.
No, but yeah, it gets struck down when uploaded in its entirety, but people can piece it together.
Huh.
Like it does zoom in. Um, but no one can work out whether or not it's a pro shot or not. So like Catherine Steele used to be like anti bootleg. I don't know if she still is. She doesn't upload much anymore. But shout out to Catherine Steele, love yous. Um, but she was like, I don't know whether or not I can watch this because I think it might be legally recorded. But yeah, that's a fun piece of bear law. Okay, we're back. Sorry, we've had a technical delay issue because I need to sort out my computer storage. Um, Anywho, um, big debates. Anyway, because of this, because there was a production of Bear, it would just kind of trug along in a very specific place of infamy. I was thinking about those stupid fucking icebergs that have been doing the rounds again.
Hamilton on a deeper level.
Hamilton on a deeper level. I saw that when it first like was produced and sent it to Nell. When I'm
Um,
losing my shit at Hamilton
when
on
we
a
do our Hamilton re-up,
yeah.
it's gonna be called Hamilton on a deeper level.
And we've had that name all year basically. So
Yeah,
before it became a bit. Um and when I first saw it and went to the comments, everyone was saying, "Oh my God, I'm so glad you're saying this because no one else understands Hamilton like I do." And I was like, "No, girlie,
yes, they do.
they do.
I
Trust
promise you, they do.
trust me, you're not having an original experience right now with how you feel about Hamilton.
We've all felt it.
We've all felt it. But Bear is one where I'm like, I would put it kind of below the water level.
Yeah,
Um, but I also wouldn't put it the most obscure. I find those stupid. We should make our own iceberg one of these days.
we should. When
Maybe
we're
that's
in
what.
the depths of dissertation hell, let's just make an
Yeah,
iceberg.
we should make our own iceberg, and we should also make tier lists. That's what I thought this week. You know, one of those tier
Yeah,
lists with a ton of musicals.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
We should do them.
I think so.
Anyway, um, yeah, basically, I've always thought Bear never gonna play Broadway, never gonna play the West End, and if it did, it'd have to be a very small theatre because it doesn't work in a big space. And I've known this for years, since I was 14 years old. Um, and then one day, I'm sat in class, I'm sat in a lecture, I get a text from Nell with "What the hell is this?" I
See,
look
I
at it.
can find the text.
It's from like this time last year.
I know.
Um,
If I just search up bear, I think it might actually come up.
it might come up because I literally like I said I because I saw it and I was like I literally like I think I dropped my phone in this lecture because it I was like I can't believe they're doing that. I can't believe it. I can't believe it because it was a "Are you there" lyric or something. I was
Oh,
so
I sent you a screenshot. I
yes.
think this is the one.
If it's blue and white writing,
Yeah, and it just said like the 31st of January 2024.
yeah.
You were the question and you were the answer.
Yes, yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I said big day for you specifically.
And I was like, that's a bear
And I was like,
lyric.
that's a lyric from Bear if you didn't know. And I said, I knew it vaguely was, which is why I sent it to you.
I was freaking out, man. Then I
And
kind of
then Palladium posted a second one, or the same one, and I was like, it's going to be at the Palladium.
I was literally thinking this is the best day of my life. Also, why the fuck is Bear playing the
I
Palladium?
know.
Honestly, it's still at kind of at the point wherever I get a text from Nell saying, "What did Lambert Jackson just post?" I think, oh, for fuck's sakes, what have they done now?
And then yeah, I texted you on the 31st of January,
Yeah, I was, I was,
and I was
I was
like, it was
hungover.
the screenshot of the announcement, and I was just like, Jordan Luke Gage is getting booked.
Yes. I was hungover as shit that day, so I slept through the announcement, and then I was like, "Oh, let me log on and see how this is selling. Let me buy myself a ticket to Bear." And all of the cheap seats were gone, and also I was feeling broke because I probably spent too much money the night before.
It's and then
I don't
it kind of nothing happened.
know. And then I went on a bit of a warpath against it. I was sorry that I couldn't go. It was too
The
expensive.
next time we brought it up
Yeah.
was
When
when
it
we were discussing Star Kid
yes.
because we were like, assuming it's the same pricing as that, I'll be so real. I'm willing to spend up to like £20, £70 for good tickets.
Is that you?
Yeah, I said I would spend £70. And then you said maybe 40.
Yeah, no, because I'm a bit broke.
And I was like, just thinking because Bear had £24 and £40 tickets as their two cheapest with not much change in view. But to be honest, I think being there is enough, so 40 should be fine.
Also,
Um,
Nell's the
and then
one
we were
where we
also talking about Hadestown.
That because we booked them in the same week. That's so crazy.
Yeah, you were like, booked Hadestown, here's our view.
Shit view, but best
Ship
day of
you.
my life. Shit view, but best day of my life. Um,
And then we
then
were
they
in the queue. Oh, you know what? Let me skip through this
don't remind me.
because we then couldn't get tickets, and you said, you know what? I have beef with the production company now because they screwed
I
up
did.
there, and now this.
I had documented beef with Lambert Jackson.
And then 17th of March, you were like, there are some £40 tickets to Bear, and I'm like this close to buying one. Like I don't have the money, but I need to see it. And then you said, I'm not doing it. I pressed pay and they kicked me out.
But yeah, Andy wouldn't let me give me his money, take my money. For once in his life, he didn't care about money.
And then 3 days later, on the 20th of March,
What
you said
time?
10:24 a.m.
Yeah, I knew it was early in the morning.
You said just bought a ticket to Bear. They dropped him for £30 for the stools.
Oh, that's a good deal. That's a great deal.
And then actually immediately following that, do
My
you know
phone
what
broke.
happened to us? Your phone broke, but that evening
Yes,
we got a text.
we got a text. Um, oh God, I remember one of the things I texted you about when I was at Bear. I went by myself, but the casting was crazy, and I was like £30 for stalls. I take my money because it wasn't selling. Um, I remember I sent you an image of my AirPods recapped.
Yeah.
Um. Anyway, they would announce it at the Palladium, biggest venue Bears ever played, to my knowledge. In a review, All That Dazzled would say, it's like with any of these musical theatre concerts, the word concert. I also saw him at the interval, like drafting this, and I almost went
Mm,
over and said something because I texted you, I was like, what Dazzled is here? And I saw that he was furiously typing away, and so I was like, nah, he's got some
yeah.
things to say. And I think we're on the same wavelength. Um, um, I stop saying and start saying words. That's going to be better. It's like any of these musical theatre concerts. The word concert can be interpreted in a variety of ways. Like many other concerts, Bear doesn't see the cast simply standing with songs, instead semi-stage with choreography and minimal props. With Dean Johnson's directed ambitiously, bringing a rather intimate story into the grand setting that is the London Palladium stage. Sadly, not every element worked as well as you'd hope for the occasion, with awkward silences and scenes not ending distinctly enough, resulting in the whole thing feeling less slick than I am used to with other previous productions from these talented creatives. Due to the nature of these one-night only concerts, they can often be dodged with sound problems, and sadly, this is notable apparent in this production. Multiple miscues and incorrect mixing meant the cast struggled to be heard, making some of the dialogue and lyrics completely inaudible and lessening the impact of the lines completely. At one point, a character was admonished for their ignorant comment, a comment that was not heard on stage. It was just like the sound problems on this occasion, though, with the lighting refusing to behave itself, coming up randomly or plunging the cast into darkness and making it impossible to see them clearly. These these two critical production elements can be seen as key moments landing. I cite them as the main reasons Bear didn't resonate as it should. I'm a great champion of these musical theatre concerts. As regular readers of this website will know, they provide great opportunities to revisit shows that have rarely been seen or have a bigger stage than should be like to get out of them, often with Dreamcast. However, in this case, bigger doesn't mean better. I felt that staging Bear in such a vast venue actually distracted from the story. At its heart is an intimate story that requires instant connection with the audience. Placing it in a 2,000 capacity theatre made it all the more difficult. I get why these musical concerts opt into venues such as the Palladium, sorry. But I But where this girl worked for the sideshow last month, it faltered the production a bit. I couldn't help but think that the show scaled up to a middling size West End venue, then it would be able to strike a balance of intimacy of this grandeur of the space of the concert styled, and the Palladium was not the best fit in this respect. Laurie Kinson proves a remarkable talent in the lead role as Peter. An absolute revelation in the role, he gives the strongest performance amongst a sensational cast, showcasing gorgeous vocals and an unrivaled rack for tapping into the emotive nature of the character. The always wonderful John Luke Gage seems to be having his own greatest hit shows in his role as Jason, getting to play the Romeo of the show whilst having a romantic connection with Frances Maley McCann. It gives us the Anne Juliet, Bonnie and Clyde, and Heather's mashup musical theatre's obsessive fantasize over. Half the people when they were booking this tickets list didn't know what the fuck Bear was about. That was half the issue. So many people walked out of the interval. Oh my god.
I think you told me that you were like 25 people walked out at least.
I should look
Like an
over.
actual insane amount.
Like, it was crazy. Anyway, I was like, guys, all the good songs, the best songs are yet to come. Um, um, This was with his unmistakable voice, he gives us a quite solid performance in the role. Although his chemistry of Laurie Hamilton's Peter isn't quite as believable as you'd hope. Said that, their musical numbers provide us a beauty from the vocal perspective of Ever After, and the title number of Bear is truly astonishing in parts. Frances Maley McCann once again delights in the slow burning role of Ivy, bringing the house down with the standout musical performances of the night, All Grown Up. Yeah, All Grown Up was a highlight, and I'm not saying that because I just loved the song. It was when it like all of the technical elements also started working as they should.
Lovely.
Um, Katie Ramshaw gives one of the strongest performances in her star turn as Nadia, bringing a mix of dry humor, comedic timing, and more somber darkness to the songs. Plain Jane Badass and Spring, and a tender approach to the highlight Quiet Night at Home. Cassidy Jansen may be underused, but shines whenever she brings the big musical number Waiting, a masterclass on how to perform with all the emotive interpretation. Cassidy is best known for her performances. Attending one of these one-off performances is one of the greatest joys of both my musical theatre lover and a reviewer. Bear was an excellent choice for this concert, but sadly performance was on the night was littered with problems, drastically lessening the impact of the show and the heart of the emotion. Although a few tears were still shed by yours truly, of course. I didn't get the sense that it could have used a bit long. I get the sense that it could have used a bit longer in rehearsals to make everything slick, as they were in other producers' other concerts. Although assembling a cast of this caliber may result in limitations in time, while this production was not perfect by a long shot, there's still plenty to love, namely the cast and the music. If anything, it had me longing for a fully staged production of Bear to return to London if in the not so distant future. I'll be praying for that anyway. Do you want to do the synopsis?
Yeah. Bear follows a group of high school students as they navigate the challenges of love and identity in a Catholic boarding school. The story centers around two boys, Peter and Jason, who are in a secret relationship and must hide their love. As the characters grapple with their sexuality, faith, and the pressures of conformity, the musical explores themes of friendship and self-discovery. I will say it sounds kind of more like a pitch than a synopsis.
Well, it's like any like off-Broadway show that's never really had a Broadway run. It's incredibly hard to find a synopsis.
Yeah.
I went through
Um,
about five before I found one. Yeah.
yeah. I've got nothing to say on Bear.
It sounded like you were about to say something. I was like, interesting.
My thoughts on Bear. And that's probably it.
Yeah. If you couldn't tell, a lot of my being mean about it comes from a deep, deep place of love.
Yeah,
Um, I think
I
a
can
lot,
tell.
yeah, I think a lot of I think a lot of musicals, especially post Spring Awakening, I'm gonna say, don't
Mm.
treat are dumb, you know? If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like they're not
Yeah.
smart. Like they can be funny and witty, but often they're just going for the lowest common denominator. If that makes sense.
Hmm.
Like, I wouldn't say Dear Evan Hansen's a particularly good musical, you know?
Yeah.
I wouldn't say Heathers is a particularly good musical or smart musical. Mean Girls isn't. Be More Chill has moments of good, but
I fucking love Be More Chill though. Like,
you're allowed your guilty pleasure musical. But you know what I mean. But I wouldn't call those big teen musicals, especially when we were teenagers, smart
mm.
or
I
even
think I get
smart.
their appeal. I get why I liked them when I was younger, and I get why I
Oh,
still like them now.
I
But
get why if Michael in the Bathroom comes on, I'm gonna be listening to Michael in the
oh,
Bathroom.
when Michael in the bathroom comes on, bitch, I am singing along.
Yeah. Like I get their function as well.
Yeah. I
But
don't think that there's really, I mean, when you look at all of like the three we just named, I'm ignoring Spring Awakening because I think that's something different.
if Spring
But
Awakening of course is different.
yeah, but Dear Evan Hansen, Heather's Be More Chill
Yeah.
all kind of have the same message,
Hmm.
which is like, be yourself. Don't change yourself for society. And they all basically say that.
Yeah.
They
And
say it
then
in different ways and they go through different trials to get there. But it's all kind of the same thing. And there's nothing deeper to any of them.
no.
Like, they're not bad, but they're all pretty surface level. And I
Mhm.
love them, you know?
There is a time and place for Michael in the Bathroom.
And the time and place is me, age 14,
The time and
anywhere
place.
I was.
Yeah, the time and place is me at the age of 14.
Yeah,
Um, and for that I have to be very careful. I have to be very grateful. But I don't listen to it now. I listen to it nowadays in a nostalgic way.
yeah.
I don't listen to it as like this is a good piece of music. I was listening to some of the stuff from Bear today as I was putting this together, and I was like, oh, I forget. This is a good piece of music.
Mm. I think as well with stuff like that, and this is where I would put like Spring Awakening,
Yeah.
is any experience I've had with them is I kind of feel like they're there to make you think.
Yeah,
Like you're not walking out of there or Spring Awakening and being like, I mean, fucking banger, and
yeah.
that's being it. It's like, wow, that actually was saying something about society. That's making me think about myself. That's making me think about my life.
Yeah, it's like we're gonna tell you a bit more of a overall depressing story. Both of the
Yeah.
shows kind of end with these moments of lights up, here we are, guys, let's all look at each other and go, what the fuck?
And I feel like this is not a completely fair comparison.
Hmm.
Because I think it's similar to what Hadestown does.
I
But I
was literally
do think
about to say that.
Hadestown does it. I think Hadestown does it significantly better than any other show.
But I think that's by design of
Like,
what Hades Town is.
like Hamilton does that. Like Who Lives, Who Dies, Who Tells Your Story is the same as like Road to Hell Reprise is the same as whatever No Voice,
Wait,
the
what
last
are
song in
you
there.
no voice. What are you casting as the last song in Hades Town?
Both Road to Hell Reprise
Hmm.
because the and we're gonna sing it again and Cups because they are kind of saying a very similar thing.
Yes.
Cups is just slightly more hopeful than any of the other ones. Cups is the reason that, we go back to Hades Town.
There's many reasons why
There's many reasons we go back to Hades Town.
why come a couple of weeks I would have seen Hades Town 5 times.
I'll see it 3 times.
That's so many for you.
I know.
Uh,
Um,
times six, baby.
yeah. But it's like, we're saying that. And I do think it's unfair because, you know, voices in my head. The finale of Be More Chill is in no way comparable to any of those songs, and there's a reason for it. They're all maybe Hamilton we exclude from this sentence,
Oh,
but they're all
because
kind of appealing to the same audience.
no, but Hamilton is very much appealing to teenagers.
I think my thing is, I don't think Lin-Manuel Miranda sat down and was like, I'm
Lin-Manuel,
writing this for the 14-year-olds.
he wrote one show for the 14-year-olds and it's called Bring On the Musical.
Yeah. Um, Like I think it definitely found an audience with teenagers, but I don't think
Oh,
it
and
was
it still
entirely,
is.
yeah, I don't
And
think it was
that scares
intended
me.
for them.
No, no,
Whereas
no.
I think Be More Chill, Heathers, Dear Evan Hansen, Bear, and I
I
would
don't.
say Hades Town,
Interesting.
because I think the point with Hades Town is to be like, look at you. You are 14 years old. You think you can't do anything with your life. You think you're just a cog in the machine. Cannot start talking about Hades Town in the Bear episode. We're both sick. This is gonna go on for another 5 hours if we let ourselves do this.
I'll cut that, but I'm gonna make a note of it for when we do Hades Town the
Oh
re-up.
yeah, absolutely. No, keep
Um,
it in because I think it is an interesting point. But
But I don't know. I don't know. I think because Bear and To an Extent Spring Awakening, they weren't written for a teen audience so much.
what there?
Yeah.
I would say it has to be.
No. No. I think maybe that's probably where they succeed because they don't want to dumb it because they're like they don't. I think sometimes when people write stuff for a teen audience, their instinct is to dumb it down, if that makes sense,
Yeah,
and go for the lowest common
yeah.
denominator. Whereas if they unintentionally make something for a teen audience, they don't dumb it down.
I think it's. I think maybe it's there's a difference between writing for teens
Mm.
and now what's the right way to phrase this that's not going to sound really weird?
Mhm.
I am just gonna have to bite the bullet, and this is gonna sound yeah, this is gonna sound a little noncy.
Sorry, go
But
ahead.
like there's a difference between writing for teens
Mhm.
and writing to try and like entice teens.
I get exactly what you mean.
Like I think Hades Town is not written as like kids come and watch this, but it's like, oh, we're dissatisfied with society. We want to change things and we want to do it through love and peace rather than fighting wars. And, I hate to use 14-year-olds as like a derogatory term as we've been doing for the past 5 minutes. But the 14-year-olds see that and they're like, fuck, that's so me. I'm so cool and mature. I have to go see
I
this.
understand the world in a way no one else does, and
Like I have to go see the show.
I also think that that's what um Spring Awakening and Bear, and to some extent Natalie Next to Normal taps into.
Like it's very much like Bear, I think, um is very much like, oh, look at how like these kids are put in boxes and like all of this
Mhm.
shit and like they're not understood. And it's
I
very much
mean,
like, it's like, oh, let me go see this to make fun of it because they don't understand teens like I do.
no, but like I think even like to your point of like these kids are put in boxes, the show takes that one step further and casts the characters in Bear, in Romeo and Juliet, because it's technically also a retelling of Romeo and Juliet,
Mm.
in as their so-called traditional roles, if that makes sense. So like, um, Jason and Ivy are Romeo and Juliet, and Nadia makes a ton of comments about this in Role of a Lifetime. She's the fat, funny sidekick, so she gets to play the nurse, and she has a line of, eh, so why can't the fat girl play Juliet? It's the plumpest of roles, so then why not pick me? Um, and then Matt, who is angry and angsty and never gets what he wants, is Tybalt or
Yeah, that makes
Paris.
sense. It's
Um,
kind of like
Jason Peter's the best friend character. Like,
oh, Mercutio,
yeah.
who everyone thinks is gay.
Well, yes, because everyone
Well,
does think
yes.
that. Like,
Yeah, I feel like it's very much like it's like kind of laying a trap.
yeah,
It's like, oh, this musical's so mature, like the kids won't get it. Wanting, the teenagers to come in and be like, I actually, I get this on a deeper level.
I get this so deeply.
I get this so well, you don't even understand.
I just read Romeo and Juliet for the first time, and so I understand what they're saying, and so I feel smart. Um,
It's like reading the bell jar, then going to see Next to Normal and being like, I think actually, I'm the like the chair of mental illness right now. Like you kind of need to come to me to ask about this.
Nell's just
Like I feel like that's
Nell.
what they're doing.
Nell's just as someone who saw Next to Normal twice and reread the bell jar last summer, and I had a running bit that Sylvia Plath was haunting me because I genuinely think she was
It's Hadestown is,
the love of my life.
it's, you're in the lobby and there's a like 15-year-old in front of you, and they turn around, they go, "So have you ever read the Communist Manifesto? Because it's actually really interesting."
Sharp. That someone we know who got really into Hadestown when we were 15 probably has done that.
Yeah. I'm trying to think what the bear equivalent of this is.
The bear equivalent of that is reading Romeo and Juliet.
I don't
Like,
even think it's that. I think it's like
anyway,
I'm trying to think like religious trauma.
Lady Bad.
Yeah. Um,
Well, that's set in a Catholic school.
there's something that I'm like thinking of and I cannot remember what it is. But it's like that kind of thing of it's trying to entice pretentious young teens to come
Yes.
and see it to actually give them something to think about.
Yes. Yes.
We're all annoying teens at some point.
We are all annoying, pretentious motherfuckers. This was one of my favorite musicals when I was 14, alongside Spring Awakening and Next to
I'm trying
Normal.
to think what my one of this was. What was I annoying about at 14? Most
Cut.
things. Tuck?
Cuts.
Yeah, that's true.
We all have our little like flops,
It's not
baby.
fucking sad. Yours
Underrated.
was like commentary on society.
Well,
Mine
no.
was death.
Okay. Let's go. Let's bring it back to Next to Normal.
Listen, man.
Ugh.
Who
Streaming
rereads
it.
Sylvia Plath?
Huh?
Like, who rereads Sylvia Plath?
I don't have
And
so.
listen,
I have,
oh,
I have my Zelda Fitzgerald.
I'll go read Zelda Fitzgerald and listen to Superboy and the Invisible Girl.
I'm gonna go do
You
that.
know?
Did you know there's a Tamagotchi Ocean Boulevard?
Yeah.
R.I.P. Natalie Goodman. You would have loved Lana Del Rey.
I think that's all I can say on that. I've made fun of it enough.
I have a couple of critiques. I mean, I'm not 14, so I'm not going to spend 5 hours dissecting it. My like, it's so hard because Interpretano has unfortunately passed away, and no updates have been made since I believe 2007. And
Mm.
to an extent, Bear is a piece talking about social issues. And so I hope there will become a day where Bear becomes outdated. Um, we've not reached that
I'm
point.
sorry, Hadestown UK has released like these beautiful photos of basically saying all aboard year two Hadestown UK rehearsals have
Oh
begun.
yeah.
But they posted the most gorgeous photo of the three fates.
Wait, so there's currently a cast in rehearsals,
Yes.
whilst the next cast haven't chaos down at the lyric.
You can look, it's on their Twitter.
I'm looking. Oh yeah, I've seen it.
But it's just like the most beautiful photo of the three fates.
Yeah, why are they like posing?
Holy shit!
They are the only ones like posing.
Like they are serving, like giving it their all.
They are like modeling. Anyway, my critiques. Some of the language feels pretty outdated,
Early
especially
2000s.
early 2000s. It's like the line where I was like, I cannot believe people are cheering for this in the year 2024 was uh and I know that because there's the soul of a black woman inside of every gay man. I was like, that's a line that was written with good intentions in the early 2000s, and now we're not in the early 2000s, and
Yeah, but
yeah.
now I feel like we can say something better.
I feel like we have a smarter way of conveying that point. Um, that's some of the lines where I was like, yep, that's early 2000s. Um, that's probably the main one that I was like, oh yeah. The whole God don't make no trash section, and then having um uh Sister Chantel in 911 emergency become Diana Ross. And then having Matt be, and then at one point they changed it to Beyonce. Sometimes they
Right?
just change Beyonce, and it was like, why can't Matt just be really into, not Matt, Pete just be really into disco, guys?
Why not?
Why not? He can be playing a 70s mix on Spotify like I am
Like we all are.
constantly. Nell's finally got into 70s music.
It's been a couple months now.
Yeah. Um.
Shall I see what we're twinning on today?
Oh, I'm scared. We're never twinning on anything good.
Oh, that's actually really embarrassing. That's my fault.
What is it? Was it Andy?
So it was me and Niv are twinning on
Oh.
Andy.
How?
I've been playing music through her Spotify.
That's
Me and Esme are twinning on Jeff Buckley. Yes.
so bad. Oh, I get jump
Oh
scared by.
yes.
Are you screenshotting?
I'm not screenshotting it, but I can if you'd like.
No, I don't want to be jump
No,
scared. I
I
get jump
will.
scared.
Since you
I get
brought it up.
I get jump scared by Jeff Buckley.
And he's yeah. And not for the
'Cause,
reason. I should react to it actually.
it's not come up for me.
What else are we twinning on? We listen to kind of the same music, so
Wait, what's our compatibility score on AirBuds?
oh, it's something like 98%.
I got 100 the other day with one of my friends.
Damn. My God.
81. We're really slacking.
Fuck.
Oh no, the common artists are bad.
Yeah, let's not talk about it. Can I bully my sister for a second?
Go ahead. Danae Benton, Donald Finn, Jeff Buckley, Andrew Lloyd Webber.
It's okay, all she listens to is The Smiths and Jeff Buck. Like it's actually embarrassing for her.
Like, that's so funny. In case anyone's wondering, me and Nell have gone on like a 90s alt rock thing kick lately. That's how the Jeff Buckley has ended up in there.
Basically everything from the 70s to the 90s we've been really into.
I mean,
70s, 80s, 90s.
I've been into it I'm not that into 80s music, but I've been into the
I
70s.
love some 80s music.
And then like the 90s, I've been getting really into like the Cranberries, Jeff Buckley,
Yeah.
Fiona Apple, like
Mm.
Alanis Morissette, all artists I'm known to be listening to, and so it leads to things like us tune twinning on Jeff Buckley. Hence again why I love I love Bear because it kind of slots quite nicely into that genre of music. When I get really into Bob Dylan. No, actually not Bob Dylan, Joan Baez. Joan Baez. She's a modern icon. I'm kind of obsessed with her. Anyway, I'm not gonna sit here and talk about Bear for hours because I'm sick and I'm not 14. You
Yeah.
know when there are some behaviors that you won't indulge yourself in because you're no longer 14?
Yeah.
It's like how I won't let myself listen to Hamilton very often, even though it's objectively an amazing musical. It's like I cannot walk around listening to Hamilton every day because I'm not 14 years old. Um, Anywho, what are we doing next week? I know what we're doing next week. It's gonna be another news week because it'll be the What's on Stage Awards. We're discussing them and all of the others goings ons. Yeah. We will speak to you guys next week. Bye bye.
Bye.